Morning, Freed. Morning, Elsie. Glad you could come to the Vivekananda celebrations of the World Parliament of Religions, the centenary talks held at the Bhavan, West Kensington, London. Rosina, ready? Meeting held here.
Excellency and Mrs. Singhi and friends, it's a pleasure for us to assemble here today. In a sense, inauguration of a series of functions, meetings and seminars in connection with the centenary celebrations of the World Parliament of Religions that was held at Chicago in 1893. It's really a function that inaugurated a closer understanding and bringing together the religions, different religions of the world. It was the first Parliament of Religions ever held. It was also the first time the world religions met on a common platform to discover how much there is in common in the religions of the world. When we do not meet together, we always find the others as strangers or even unknown friends whom we do not want to meet. That's how the world religions had lived apart, and some of them even were hostile towards each other for various reasons. So on this common platform in 1893, it was something wonderful to see the different representatives of different religions meeting together and trying to understand each other. Swami Vivekananda was one of the representatives of Hinduism on the platform held there. Of course, there was something very special about Swami Vivekananda. Those of you who have studied his life know about it. I'm telling it not because I'm a follower of Swami Vivekananda, but perhaps if I tell it there is something wrong in it. But you will discover it for himself how special a person he was. He went there uninvited, just depending upon God to organize everything. It makes an interesting reading. How, if you really trust in God, God does work out things. And it worked out like that for him, and he met the right people, right guidance, right help required, and he was there on the Parliament of Religions, on the platform. He said that religion is the manifestation of divinity already in man. All religions have this common goal to meet the Creator. That is the purpose of religion. The way we the way we go about doing this may vary, but the purpose is same. They are not different. Even in Christianity, this teaching is there. Jesus said, "Kingdom of God is within you. Seek ye first the kingdom of God, and everything else will be added unto you." That's the teaching in Christianity too. But somehow there was no opportunity for these various religions to come together and understand each other. So the Parliament of Religions provided a common platform and opportunity for world religions. They expound their special way of communication with God. Ultimately, it is God alone that counts, but the methods vary. In that August assembly, Swami Vivekananda presented the eternal truths of Vedanta and universalism of true religion. See, this philosophy is non-sectarian. I would even go further and say Hindus do not have any special claim on it. If anybody has a claim, they can have it if they want to choose a path to God. That's all what Vedanta is about. His master, Sri Ramakrishna, based on his personal experiences and realizations, had declared earlier, though religions are many, the truth is one. Swami Vivekananda, as a true disciple of this great teacher, having experienced the truth himself, proclaimed this truth at the Parliament of Religions. This set the people thinking and re-examining religion in general. Immediately after the Parliament, an inter-religious organization was started, which is still functioning. Since then, many organizations like the World Congress of Faith, Temple of Understanding, World Congress for Religion for Peace, the World Forum for Human Survival, or various religious organizations, inter-religious organizations have come into existence. They have been working to bring the followers of different religions together so that there may be more and more understanding. As a result of these organizations, for the last 1 century, a greater awareness of spirituality has come over the world. The 20th century marked, in a way, the swing of the pendulum towards religion. 19th century, it was all science and technology and the success and glory of science. But in 19th century, slowly, religion came back to its own, as it were. Perhaps the challenge was necessary for religion too. So some of the eminent scientists remained till the end true men of religion. So the greatest consequence as a result of this Parliament was that religion stands victorious and stands on its own strength. All religions have developed a broader vision and a deeper understanding. This has been achieved by this Parliament of Religions. When we study the lectures of Swami Vivekananda at the Parliament and after, we find he tried to bring Eastern and Western thought together to mold one human culture. He aimed to remove apparent conflicts between different religions and establish the unity. This was the glory of this great teacher. So today we are celebrating this occasion as a centenary of this great event that helped people of different nations and different religions to come together and live in harmony and peace. That is the greatest need today. Nations and religions have stood apart for too long a period. It's very necessary that we should come together just to live in peace and harmony. Otherwise we see only destruction and chaos. We have had enough of it in this century. We need coming together. That has been the glory of this great parliament and Swami Vivekananda. I heartily welcome you all for this meeting, and I am with you on this joyous occasion to remember this great man and the great occasion. Thank you very much.
The next speaker is Dr Satyanarayan Shastri, who was the Vice Principal of a Vishweshwaraya College in Karnataka, Bhadravati, who is now has joined the Bhavan as the registrar of our Manchester Centre. Our High Commissioner has very kindly agreed to inaugurate our centre on March 6th. Dr. Shastri is a very well-known speaker, writer, playwright and a director. He has addressed several youth gatherings in India. Now he will speak on Vivekananda's call to the youth. Dr. Satyanarayan Shastri.
Revered Swamiji, respected Dr. Singhvi, and my dear audience. Actually, I wanted just to listen to the eminent speakers who have been enlightening us. Listen to the eminent speakers who have been enlightening us. But fortunately for me, I have been given an opportunity to share my thoughts regarding Swamiji, Vivekananda. The topic given to me, as already told by Mathurji, the call given to the youth by Swami Vivekananda. Swami Vivekananda may be termed as the eternal youth, youth personified. He is eternally young because when Swami Vivekananda, his name before sannyasa was Narendra, when he was a child, his mind and his intellect was as mature as that of a young man. When he was a young man, he was very enthusiastic, very energetic. The whole atmosphere of Indian philosophy, the Indian religious field, it was charged with his vibrant feelings, his thoughts, his words, his deeds. And regarding his old age, I don't think we have to tell about him, his old age, because he did not live until his old age. When he was just 39, he has achieved the goals of his life and he went to the other world. When he addressed the Parliament of the World Religions, he was just 30 years old, just the age for a boy to play football. He had achieved the maximum heights at his youth. So the government of India has resolved to celebrate January 12th to be the National Day of the Youth, because he is the ideal for all young men and women in this world, not only in India, everywhere. He gave a call to the youth. When you give a call by name, then only it will be responded. Suppose I call, somebody please come and help me. Nobody may come. You may just look at the faces one another. Suppose I call, Mr. John, please come. Mr. John will come. Because when I call by name, then the response will be sure and quick. So Vivekananda gave that call to the youth. I immediately remember a story from Ramayana. In Ramayana we have heard of Kumbhakarna, the younger brother of Ravana, who was famous or rather notorious for his long and deep sleep. They tell that he used to sleep for 6 months in a year. It is not wonder, if he sleeps 12 hours a day, it comes to 6 months in a year. So our youth is also sleeping like that. So when there was a war, when Rama's army had come to Lanka, there was a war. Kumbhakarna had to be the chief commandant. commander. So his elder brother Ravana asked his soldiers to wake him up. Kumbhakarna was asleep. All the demons went there. They were shouted, they screamed, they beat the drums, they blew conch. They did all sort of noise. Kumbhakarna was not to get up. So they went and reported to Ravana. We did all these things. We made a loud noise. But Kumbhakarna did not get up. That Ravana went there. He just murmured. He whispered in the ears of Kumbhakarna. Kumbhakarna, get up. Kumbhakarna woke up. Why? He was called by name. You are called by name. You call the nation by name. You India, you young India, you get up. Arise, awake. Stop not till the goal is reached. Uttishtata, Jagrata. He gave a call to the youth because young men was his relevant subject. He relied upon today. He used to tell, ask a child what is he going to do tomorrow. Ask an old man what you did yesterday. But for a young man, don't ask him about yesterday or tomorrow. Ask him what he is going to do today. What is planned for today. Today is important. Vivekananda was so practical, was so enthusiastic. He relied upon today. He took the whole world with his storm of Vedanta. Like a gale force, he took away everything along with him. The whole nation became a slave as though. The whole atmosphere was charged with his Vedanta. In those days, he always attracted young men and women who became parivrajikas and parivrajikas. You cannot think of women in India becoming parivrajikas, sannyasinis. He took them along with him and took around the holy land of Bharat. He showed what is to be done. He used to say, don't cry. Don't cry even in the name of God. Suppose there is a child always weeping at home. No father will be happy to go home to see that ugly face of that child which always keeps crying. Don't cry. Crying is very dangerous. It is a contagious disease. Fear destroys everything. Fear causes death. Don't fear. The one word which comes like a bomb from the message of the Upanishads is abhaya, fearlessness. He never afraid of anything. He always wanted truth. Perhaps he took only two missions in his life. One, to know the truth, to know the self. Second, be unattached and do all sorts of acts to be done. He used to say, in a very liberal way of meaning things, what is help? You cannot help anybody. Suppose you feed a hungry man. Suppose you give money to a beggar. You are not helping him. It is your service. It is your duty. Duty is important. You cannot help a man. What is education? Vivekananda's definition of education was very wide, very broad, very lofty. What is education? Education is not mere learning letters, alphabets. Education is the manifestation of perfection already inherent in us. It is education. What is sannyasa? Renunciation, not getting rid of actions, getting rid of the fruits of your action. Karma ka tyag tyag nahi hai, karma phal ka tyag hi tyag hai. His was the new interpretation of all these concepts. Everything very lofty, very wide, very liberal, very unconventional. He always wanted to know the truth. For him, India was not just a land, not just lifeless mud, not the past, not the future, the present, the today, the living, breathing people of India. That is India. What is religion? Doing good to all, that is religion. Not just some sorts of beliefs or faiths. No. He wanted to know the truth. When Gandhiji said Satya Agraha, the demand for truth, it is the same thing. You must know the truth. You must always demand it, seek it. Unless you find it, don't stop. Even in childhood, when Narendra used to attend some of the discourses, perhaps the lecturer would tell something about religion, something about God, something about divine feelings. Immediately after the lecture, Narendra, a small young boy of just 7 or 8 years old, he would go to the lecturer and ask him, "Sir, have you seen God?" No, I have read about it. Don't tell what you have read. Tell us what you have seen. Tell us what you have felt. Tell us what you have experienced. Otherwise, be silent. Don't tell nonsense. Don't fool yourself and don't fool us. He would tell us. That's why he happened to come across the contact with Ramakrishna Paramahamsa. He wanted to know the truths. He wanted to know whether there is God, existence of God. He wanted to know, he wanted to realize, he wanted to feel it. Even before sannyasa, he was over energetic, all inquisitive, full of spirit. He was a leader always. He was a very good musician. He was very good in history, in philosophy, in several languages. He was the leader always. He was like a magnet. He took all his friends along with him. He used to be the leader always. And he was the leader and he is the leader. He wanted to know the truth by testing. He was the practical religion, not dogmas, not theories. He would say just beauty.
Vidyatman is the who has been in